Hey guys, Boris Awesome Weekend Forex. Welcome to our Forex Daily Technicals for 11, 10, 11, 14, 13. As always, trading foreign exchange on margin carries a high level of risk. Every single foreign investor. I ask you to read this disclaimer very carefully. Understand all the risks associated with trading on margin. Seek advice from independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. Well, let's take a look at the charts today. Very interesting day. We had a really big flush in the euro up and down, but ultimately the euro ended up at the day's highs, mainly off of the leaked testimony or sort of early release of the Janet Yellen testimony, which was very dovish in its nature. And tomorrow is really going to be Yellen for Yellen Day, basically. Market is going to be very focused on what she says, and if she continues to essentially communicate a very dovish message, it's a really strong chance that we're going to take out the 35s. Obviously, 35 is the most closest level here for the euro. But the real big move will be through the 35.50s. If we can recover that, that would really be a very, very powerful comeback for the euro. Although having come there, it's going to now face very, very stiff resistance at 36. I think it has fuel enough to go maybe for another 100 points, but at 36, it's gonna I think, definitely feel some of the resistance that's been building up there all the way from October. So recovery very much in mode, probably another 100 points, but beyond that, I don't see too much further upside. If she is super dovish, if she somehow changes her tune in testimony, you can see a pretty serious reversal to the downside. Either way, I think volatility is in play tomorrow. Euro, of course, does face this, run around 35s, but if they can run it through either through Asia or through Europe and just take out the stops here, the next really big level is going to be the 35.50s, and that's going to be the big watch point for the day. Conversely, yen kind of crumbled off of, we got rejected off the hundreds, basically could not even make it past into the 80s, and now with her commentary, the pull is to the downside, and the pull, of course, naturally is towards the 99s, which is the most natural level here. But the probe is probably going to be around the 98, 80s or so, as they try to flush the stops around there. Beyond that, a much more negative construct would be if we get into the 98.50s. That would really suggest an intermediate term top here, and a potential move back out to the 98s. That would completely destroy the whatever is left of the bullish bias in the dollar yen structure. For now, as long as dollar yen kind of holds above 98.50, it still maintains its overall balance of being a bullish bias, and it still has a chance to make the hundreds maybe in the next week or so. But if we start turning ourselves around and start giving up the 98.50s, that really becomes a much more negative construct. Shows a lower high here. Again, sort of a failed high. This would be the fourth failed high in dollar yen, and creates a much more negative technical picture that could take us all the way down to 97s. So that's dollar yen. Pound, on the other hand, much more positive, despite the fact that Carney tried to talk it down all he could. You see it holding pretty much near the day's highs. Very, very powerful move. I think best rally in the pound for more than a month, really since this level over here. And one of the things you can see, by the way, here is that pound, when it has these big rallies, does tend to have a little bit of a continuation. The continuation faces resistance in the 61s. We do have UK retail sales. If that is a blowout number, we certainly have a chance to make above 61s and push ourselves into this 61, 62 overhead level, which is where it's going to encounter, I think, again, more resistance. Just like Euro has really stiff resistance in 36s, cable has resistance in the 62s. But in the meantime, 61 is very much in sight, and certainly gives it a chance to run the table on that. And last but not least, Aussie really did come back very strongly. We talked about yesterday about the idea that Aussie may have bottomed out, and it was a pretty lucky call in the sense that we said if we didn't break the lows yesterday, there's a chance of an Aussie turn. Certainly is very strong. Now 94s is the most natural level to run to the upside for recovery points, and then beyond that, it's obviously 94.50 now, which is this level over here that kind of overhangs on the Aussie. But Aussie, very powerful recovery. We basically erased all the losses from yesterday. Should have a little bit more continuation, at least into the Asia session, as we get more of an anti-dollar move into the Asia Open. So we'll see how that plays out. I see yen is starting to really drift to the downside, and I see the euro and cable really starting to pick up to the top side. So clearly we're already starting to see the anti-dollar rally off of the Yellen comments, and we'll see how it plays out for the rest of the day. Wishing you guys the best of luck, the best of trading. Over and out.